The Salamanca City Central School District acknowledges the homeland of the Ananda-Watka, the people of the Great Hill, the Seneca people on whose ancestral and modern-day land Salamanca School District now stands and whose water we enjoy. We stand with all Indigenous peoples in their resolve to remain connected to their land. While we cannot undo what has been done, it is the goal of the Salamanca City Central School District to recognize the history and make improvements that will benefit the next 7 generations of Indigenous students.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Terry John, Vice President of the School Board, standing in for Teresa Ray, our president, who was not able to be here tonight. I'm going to apologize ahead of time because we're going to make this short and sweet because I got a girls' game going on next door that I got to get back to. So yes, we're going to battle with clearance.
And I got coaching too.
All right, so all right, do we have any changes to the agenda?
Just 2 simple ones. We added the bid information with regard to the surplus vehicles, and in the additions or information, we added the capital phase 4 project summary.
Okay, did you say that's on here or?
Yes.
It is on here, okay, all right. All right, so I need a motion to approve the revised agenda.
Motion.
Motion by Dale,
Second.
second by Brad. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, abstained? Okay, motion carried. All right, recognitions and presentations. We're gonna start off with the presentation A, capital, or the phase 5.0 capital project, and we're inviting Labella up to the stage.
So this evening, we have Jeff Pletzer from Labella. We have David Zhu and Doug Cloud from Turner Construction.
It's pretty good. Don't worry about things. Don't worry. It's good.
So I'll just take the first slide here for the next project in terms of the different areas that we're planning on working in the different budgets that we're holding. So you obviously got your new transportation building on Kilbuck Road, Prospect Elementary addition and renovation, and then the middle and high school campus work. And then lastly, the renovation work at the existing bus garage after a new one's built. And then these are just some of the potential project scopes of work for the transportation building. And then at the end of this presentation, if you guys have got any questions, feel free to ask us.
Hey, this is pretty straightforward. I think a lot of you guys have seen this already, but this is the existing Kilbuck property. There's several buildings on this property, including 2 silos. They'll be tore down. 2 existing structures, 12,000 square feet, 24,000 square feet will be reused. 12,000 square feet structure will be administration and maintenance, and the other building will be for storage. This depicts our schematic for that property. Just some quick images of this is new insulated metal panels on an existing steel structure that would remain. Again, using a lot of the district colors that we're seeing on other buildings. Just a couple different images, the elevations.
And then for the Prospect addition and renovation, these are just some of the potential project scopes of work. So it's a 2-story addition, which is first to the district, 16 classrooms, new restroom, and then the different renovation work that's associated with it. And then also the new parking lot and site work that is involved.
Okay, just real quick on the diagram. The lighter red color is the existing building. The darker red is the 2-story addition. We'll create a really nice entrance sequence. Again, we're going to start to inject some of the colors that we're seeing at the high school into those facades. There's additional parking as well on a property in front of the existing elementary property, which is required by the district. There's also a small walking trail. Sorry, you can go ahead, Marcy. Real simple, 2-story addition. Those are the classrooms on the far side. We're trying to just inject a lot of the same colors that you'll see on the existing brick and the facades, along with the red that we see outside at the high school here, trying to make it look like part of the district and a more cohesive vision. Just an image along the walking path here to the entrances to the elementary. And some quick diagrams of the floor plan, which will really get updated in schematic design after the vote is approved.
And then as for the middle and high school, obviously, we've been here for the past 3 years now, so there's not a whole lot to be done here, but these are the potential project scopes there. And then, like I mentioned, after the new transportation is built and all the current staff and buses are moved over there, that gives us the opportunity to renovate the existing bus garage and some of the potential scopes of work listed up there.
Okay, got another series, simple diagram that we worked on with the athletic department. Some excitement here is it's kind of like be the last piece of the puzzle out there with all the new fields, the dedicated, varsity, team rooms, dedicated visitor rooms and coaches rooms, along with, additional toilet facilities for, our parents and fans out of the games.
No tax impact. And then these are just kind of the schedule for each of the different areas. So obviously the first for construction will be the new transportation building. And then the next one that goes along with it will be the Prospect addition. And then the high school and middle school renovation. And then lastly, the existing bus garage renovation. And then with the May build date, which is next Tuesday coming up. That would be it. Is there any questions for the design team? Construction related questions?
Yeah, I had a few. So I see on these rendering boards, and then I thought I saw it in the presentation. Can you explain why there's only 6 garage doors on this building?
Yeah, so this, I can explain, yep, so there's 2 separate buildings, one is maintenance and another one is, storage. So the maintenance, building is, the number of maintenance bays is dictated by the number of mechanics that are actually employed by the district, and that's what we're allowed to basically build, on the maintenance piece. So on this piece of the project, we have the maintenance bays and then some additional space as well, with the lifts. And on the storage building, I think there'll be 12 doors, 24, we can go back to it. I don't want to give you incorrect information, Carrie. Yeah, to the diagram, yeah. So all of these will be doors for the everyday storage of the buses on this building. Again, this one's the 24,000. That one's gonna be a much lower budget, right? All we need to do is put the budgets in there and store them. And on this side, we'll have the bays, for maintenance and then 2 additional bays for storage on that building. So that's why we're seeing less doors on that one. So
For clarification, that rendering is for the admin building to the left-hand side.
Was the rendering for the building on the right?
we can provide you another one so you can see those doors as well.
Oh, you don't have it?
We did not do one at both buildings, but I can get you one.
Oh, okay. How many doors on this building?
Is coming in.
Yeah, so they're pairs, so it'd be,
There's 15 there. Oh.
yeah, so there'll be
Seven.
probably 7 or 8 doors on that, because we try to do 1 door for 2 buses.
Yeah. So how many buses is that gonna hold?
30, I believe,
30
was
now.
counted on plan.
And how many do we have?
Pretty
Huh? We have more than that?
Right, yeah, but you can store a couple buses in the other building as well. And again, we're maximizing what was available on this site. We also, I'll note as well, and some of the people involved in the meetings know, on this building, storage building, we're allowing quite a bit of room next to the buses. We could have got tighter and got additional buses, but we also wanted to think long-term, are we gonna ever need electric chargers in there or not? So as we get into schematic design, we can go through a process to see if we can tighten things up and get additional buses if we need to. We have about, I think between buses, we got like roughly 4 or 5 feet. You can be a little tighter and get at least a few more buses if we want to.
And do we have more than 40 buses? So less than 40, but more than 30.
If I remember right, it's either 31 or 32 of the big buses and 6 of the smaller ones.
Okay.
And then like maybe 10 vans.
Where's the building for the vans?
Yeah.
Usually
We maximize what the
maximizing
square
the
foot we
available.
had, yeah, this is what, again, both of these are existing footprints, existing structures, yeah.
And then so if the structure's already there, you just be installing on the metal
Metal panels.
and metal panel around it.
Yeah.
Give it a nice facelift and.
There was a slide that we kind of skipped
Yeah.
through, but Marcy, if you could go to the slide before that. We kind of skipped through this one because it was talked about last time by Mark. Because originally, the original location that was proposed at Rochester Street, it's a brand new bill. And the cost there could have been, say, 34 million. But by reusing the structure that's at Killbuck Road and the existing footprint, you're saving about 15 million because the existing structure is there. And then, like Christian said, we're just updating the skin and the inside of it. So that's, a lot of the cost saving.
Yeah, and the storage piece in particular, working with Turner and Dave and the team, we tried to make that as tight as possible. We're literally gonna just put the new skin on it, and, be able to store the buses, within that building. The other building, obviously, you had to keep the budget a little higher because we're gonna be moving the lifts, the power, everything to go there. But we believe there's gonna be a pretty significant savings from going one site to the next.
Any more questions?
How many classrooms estimate, I can't remember if we discussed that for the double story there, the addition of Prospect?
16, yeah.
16, okay.
Yeah, and on this as well, we did quite a few programming exercises with the district staff, to kind of get to a number. We were in and around anywhere, we were talking as low as 8, then we were at 12. And then once we really dialed in the potential for the early childhood program in the building, which, that's where we end up at the 16, which would seem the most efficient on the site as well. It fits pretty well. It doesn't impact the original playground. It does create a nice kind of L-shaped entrance with the drop off.
With the new parking lot, how many additional parking spots is there gonna be?
Yeah.
When the project's done, I guess we can move
Yep.
some stuff around.
Yep. I can go to the site plan, yeah. Yeah, so I think it ended up being around, I would have to send the numbers here. I think we ended up at a plus 30 or a plus 20 something, or quite a few additional. It was well over the 16 additional classrooms, but I can get that data to you. Yeah.
That softball field gonna remain?
It's still, the footprint's there, but
Mhm.
I don't know if it remains or not with the new facility, the new turf softball. We definitely impact it. We're pretty close to it, but no closer than the original gym. We kind of kept that line.
And then that learning nature trail, that's just like starts here and loops back around with that.
Yeah, that's something we just, with the parking lot, the way it fit, there was space left, and we had heard that in a previous meeting, just about the site in general. And then when we saw that available, we threw it in there as an option, and we got good feedback on that as well.
There's the elevator in these days.
Elevator, we go to the floor plan, I can show that, yeah. It'd be the.
Am I going the wrong way? No, you're
No,
right.
you're right, yep.
Got right there.
So right here in the core, we have elevator and stair, and then a stair here. So no way to get out of 2 stairs, you gotta have one at each end, so there's our 2 stairs. And we have a single lift, which is not a lula. A lot of times people think we can do a real simple kind of lift between floors because it's so small, but it's a real elevator. So that'll be right at the corner as a part of that top core, if you will.
Any other questions?
No, it's good though, the elevator, because I don't know, but as far as like, ADA compliance or students with disabilities or wheelchairs and things like that, that helps with that. So that's, I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, think of that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We never used to have that in Jefferson.
Right, yeah, yeah.
Just like.
Well,
Thank you. Great work, you guys. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you guys for a great update. Good work.
Thank you all.
Mhm.
Thanks.
Okay. So that was our phase 5.0 capital project presentation. Next up, presentation, public hearing, 2025-2026 budget.
See you later.
Jeremy Garrett, take it away.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yep, have a good night.
All right, short and sweet is the instruction,
Yep.
so here we go.
No, I just meant my spiel.
Yeah. Okay. So when I did this, it was, I don't know what time I sent it to Janet, like at 3 o'clock in the afternoon or something. That night on, May 7th is when the New York State approved their budget. So as I had talked to you about, in our last, presentation, that I had used the executives, state run or state aid runs. The actual final state aid runs came in, $882,944 higher. So we'll use that much less impact aid. I did not change the numbers on here because I didn't want the presentation to not match the documentation that's already out in the public. Because if they didn't, it's just gonna cause an uproar if somebody actually looks at it and goes, well, how come you said this, but it's this? So that's why I did not change them. The difference is $227,948 increase in foundation aid and $654,936 increase in building aid because they finally got through the processing of our last final cost report for phase 3.2 for Prospect. So that's why it went up, $882,000, almost $883,000. So that's good for us. Where yet? Just calm down. So, there's two new positions, both special education teachers. And I'm anticipating no material changes in the CBAs, throughout. Although, I know they're working on one right now, and then there's another one, at least one, if not two, coming up next year. So those are the assumptions that I made in preparing all the final numbers. There we go. So where does our money come from? 53% of it comes from New York State aid. The next largest piece is the 22% of impact aid and a little over 13 million, but that'll actually be down to more like 12 and 12.4 million because of this increase in state aid. So that 32.1 is really close to 33 million. Use of reserves and fund balances are at 3.7 million. $251,200 is our taxes, which is $250,000 tax levy. That's not changing. And then $1,200 in fees and interest for those late payments. And then 9.25 million from the indigenous contracts for tuition and transportation. So where does it? Oh, sorry, revenues by type. And again, there's a star by state aid because at the time when I did this, it had not been passed. So this just shows you the difference from where we are projected to be in 25-26 versus where we currently are at 24-25 proposed budget. As you can see that miscellaneous went down a lot. That is primarily due to, I was conservative with the interest earnings that we'll be receiving next year, just due to dropping interest rates or laying flat from where they are right now. Decrease the tuition, transportation contracts just a little bit based on what the past couple of contracts have been declining a little bit in the amounts. So I did that to ensure that we're not over budgeting for that. And then fund balance and reserves, we're not using quite as much this year as we had in the prior year. And again, tax levy, $250,000, remains flat for the 8th consecutive year. I actually got a call from state ed. We have to, right after you approve the property tax report card, I have to submit it on the state ed portal. They called the next day to make sure that it was correct. Yes, you have a $60 million budget and your tax levy is only $250,000. I said, yes, I'm not kidding. I said, okay, away we go. So the state.
First time they've asked it?
It is. It is. Expenditures. So the state requires us to do it in 3 different pieces of the pie, essentially. Administrative, which is just what it sounds like. Capital, which is all of capital construction, or not construction, but facilities, things, and equipment costs. And then programming, which is all the teaching and educational costs that we have. So those, what's new, again, 2 new positions, all the continuation of programming that we have with all the summer camps and programming. Nikki asked me a question the other day, and I was actually kind of surprised when I computed the answer. She asked me, how much do we spend in the summer on summer PD and summer program and stuff like that? And it's almost $500,000 that we spend in 2 months on professional development and all the programming for the kids, which is amazing. Summer school courses will go to BOCES for the most part. Student supplies will still be providing those. All the meals and snack program will continue. Not only are we eligible for CEP, but New York State, if we were not, New York State just passed the meals for everyone, so we would have been anyway. Field trips as usual and after-school programming as well. This year, for summer food service, not only will we have scratch cooked lunches, but we will also have scratch cooked breakfast available for students who participate here, or if they just want to come in and eat and go home, they can absolutely do that. Or if they want to come in, grab and go and head back home, they can do that as well. We're also looking at, and like 99.9% are going to implement, that if you come and pick up your lunch on Monday, you will get your lunch and your lunch for Monday and your breakfast for Tuesday at the same time. So then you don't have to get up early on Tuesday to eat your breakfast, and then you just pick up your lunch on Wednesday, and the same thing will happen for Wednesday, Thursday. Playground upgrades will continue at Prospect. Those are the new exciting things and continuing things. So here again is the capital admin programming budget. $47.6 million on programming, which is why we're here. We don't make widgets in a factory. $6.6 million to run the places. Keep the buildings open and keep equipment moving, and $6 million for administration of the entire programming. Comparing last year to this year, 24-25 is the orange lines. So capital went down a little bit, program you can see went up, and admin is down just a tiny bit. So we're moving in the right direction with capital and admin going down and programming going up. This is what I like to look at. As far as the state does not require this, they require the 3-part budget, but I think this is a little more useful. So salaries is $27 million, about 45% of our budget. On top of that, you add another 21% of benefits at $12.6 million. That's a lot of money for all the staff, everybody, anybody that works for the district, whether it's a custodian, a cleaner, a bus driver, a teacher, an admin, anybody that works security, everybody is included in those numbers. BOCES, we're at $9.2 million. I have my glasses on my head, so wearing them. Contractual at $5.1 million. So that's all of the incidental services that we hire in, such as the security firms, the people that we bring in to provide professional development, different things like that. Debt service is at $1.7 million. That's what we owe on our outstanding debt for this year. Transfers of $935 covers summer school for special ed. The way that works is we pay all the bills up front. The district gets a certain amount of aid back, and then the remainder we have to make up with general fund money. So I have about $100,000 in there for that. The remainder of that is for the food services program to maintain our scratch cooking, and materials and supplies of about 1.3 million. And equipment is 1.7 million. So if we were to go to a contingent budget, if the budget was voted down, the district buildings, including athletic fields, Vets Park, the new turf softball field, the new track and all that kind of stuff would not be usable for community use unless it was paid for. There'd be no free use permitted. Bus purchases and all equipment purchases would be eliminated, and non-union, non-certified personnel would have their salaries frozen, and it would eliminate field trips and also professional development. And the only thing, normally when you go to a contingent budget, what people will do is they'll reduce their budgets, and you cannot have your tax levy be any higher than it was the prior year. Ours isn't changing anyway. So technically, if we went to a contingent, but if the budget went down, we could just go directly to a contingent budget and not do all that, or we could put the same budget back up because our tax levy isn't changing. And I think that is it. Yeah. Vote is next Tuesday from 9 until noon. The other way around, from noon until 9 at the high school gym. Any questions?
Anybody have any questions?
Did a good job, I don't have any.
All right, easy enough.
All right, thank you,
Thank you.
Karen. Great job. All right, so we'll move on to communications, public communications and Title VI Parent Advisory Committee.
No one's requested to speak, and Aaron Miller said he would not be available tonight.
So we'll move on to central office. Carrie, what else you have?
No.
Is Nikki on?
Just to note, Mrs. Beaver was in Buffalo and I think her session just ended, so she's traveling.
Okay. All right, and all the rest of you, I'm gonna spare you tonight. We're gonna move on to the Board of Education next.
Have to save it.
Huh?
They have to save it for next time.
I think everyone knows, like, if I'm running the meeting, everyone's sharing with us. But
Yep,
I'm in a hurry tonight. Dale, what do you got for us? We're gonna start on this end.
Sorry, I like that. I like
I'm
that.
good.
That's that.
Let's go.
Oh. Brad?
Go.
I seen the summer camp registrations are open on the Facebook page. I'm gonna go check those out. I want to wish safe travels to the eighth graders heading to Washington DC in the morning.
Okay. Hey, what do you got?
I'm good this week.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. Tracy?
Time is ticking. We're almost to the end of the school year, so if you got any assignments or back work, please start submitting them or working on them hard. And the school's approaching fast. And that's all I got.
It's good to see everyone. I received some letters from, some, 12th graders. I believe it's from a government class that they have to write a letter to a local official. I do thank, any of you, I don't know if I got any in the room, but the few that did submit to me, I was able to get back to you guys. So hopefully you guys got a good grade on that. Anyone watching, or if you could spread the room with your friends, but I want to encourage that, collaboration and, working together with, the school board and the students, but you know, also outside elected officials as well. Just all coming together. So I'm excited for the end of the school year. I hope everyone's working very hard. Like Tracy had mentioned, time's ticking. So, you know, keep grinding. We're almost to the end and yeah, go Warriors.
Well, first off, I want to thank everybody. You know, I always thank all of our staff and my colleagues for everything that we do here. You know, it's all for the kids in this district. It's all for our community. And the hard work doesn't go unnoticed. You know, I mean, we pay attention, we know what's going on here, and I thank you all for everything you do. I thank the students for being here tonight. Lucky you guys, you picked a short meeting, so
Yeah.
the next meeting might not be so lucky. Yeah, we're winding down. You know, we only got a few short weeks left of school. So the message to all the students is to buckle down. Do your work. Turn in whatever assignments you have. Study for your exams at the end of the year. Finish strong. You know, let's finish this year on a good note. To all the staff, same thing. You know, you gotta buckle down and help these kids. If they ask for help, help them. We gotta do our part to make sure that we get them across the finish line. Doesn't matter what grade they're in. We wanna get them across that finish line every year. So to everybody, you know, let's really dig in and finish strong. That's really all I got tonight. Dr. Beeler.
Just a quick one, especially for our residents here, our staff and faculty that work in the district and live in the district. May 20th, 1 week from today, noon to 9 PM. Please, please, please get out and vote. Sometimes when I'd like to think things are going well, people sort of relax a little bit and don't get overly involved with things. But I would say to anyone, anytime you have an opportunity to vote, take that opportunity, have your voice be heard. So if there's staff members who need time during the day, we will work with you, but please just get out and exercise your vote and put some input into the district.
Thank you for that. Remember, that's pretty important.
Yep.
You know, we can't do what we do up here without hearing from our community on what they want. So yeah, get out there and vote. I don't know. Okay, we're gonna move on to number 5, consent agenda. Item A is our Board of Education meeting minutes from April 22nd. Item B is travel conference and overnight trips. Item C is CSD recommendations, and item D is our CPSD recommendation. So I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Tracy, second by Christian. Any questions? No? All in favor? Aye. All right, any opposed, any abstained? No? All right, motion carried. Okay, now we are, item 6, old business, nothing over there. Item 7, new business. Item A is a donation from KRL Contracting and Seneca Holdings. Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Salamanca City Central School District Board of Education accepts a one-time donation from KRL Contracting in the amount of $500 to use for the Cindy Moore 5K for supplies and scholarship fund, and a letter of appreciation be sent, be approved. And be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Salamanca City Central School District Board of Education accepts a one-time donation from Seneca Holdings in the amount of $1,000 to use for the Cindy Moore 5K for supplies and scholarship fund, and a letter of appreciation be sent. And be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent, Salamanca City Central School District Board of Education accepts a one-time donation from Seneca Nation of Indians Accounting Department in the amount of $480 to use for the Cindy Moore 5K for supplies, and a letter of appreciation be sent, be approved.
Motion.
Motion by Christian.
Second.
Second by Dale.
Can I interrupt 1 second? On the title, I have to add the Seneca Nation Accounting Department because that came in at the end and I didn't change that title. So I
Okay.
will change that.
Yeah, so item A donation would be KRL Contracting, Seneca Holdings, and Seneca Nation of Indians Accounting Department.
Thank you.
Christian, do you still?
Yep.
You still moving? Dale, you still second?
Yep.
Okay, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Okay, motion carries.
I just want to thank them personally, KRL Contracting and Seneca Holdings. That's great to see the support for the Cindy Moore 5K. And I was gonna ask what, I can't remember exactly when that event is. Do you know offhand? when? Is it in
It's
June?
the second Saturday in June, the 14th.
We got it listed under here.
Okay,
June
June
14th.
14th.
June 14th, great event. The funds typically go to
Yep,
benefit the
yep.
class who's sponsoring it, and also the remainder of the funds goes towards the Cindy Moore scholarship,
Great
which
event.
is given out every year.
Everyone does a great job with that.
Okay, so we're on to item B, STA Memorandum of Agreement. Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Salamanca Teachers Association, STA, MOA, STA 2021/2026-016 regarding summer adventure camp coordinators compensations and summer adventure camp teachers/teachers assistants compensations for the summer 2025 academic programs be approved. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Dale.
Second.
Second by, was that you, Brad? Second by Brad. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? All right, motion carries. Item C, declare surplus. Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the following broken items be declared surplus and be disposed of accordingly be approved. Number 1, cross-country skis, 30 pair of them. Number 2, brown metal folding chairs, 75 chairs. Number 3, Electrolux electric dryer. Make Electrolux. Model. A lot of letters and numbers, and the same thing with the serial number, 1 dryer. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Tracy, second by Brad. Any questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstained? All right, motion carries. Okay, item D, Cattaraugus County School District Resource Officer Program Agreement. Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the County of Cattaraugus School District Resource Officer Program Contract Agreement to provide education, law enforcement, and counseling to students, and as an attempt to deter criminal behavior through positive interactions with students during school hours, effective July 1, 2024 through June 30, 2025, be renewed for a successive 1-year term of July 1, 25 through June 30, 26, under the same terms and conditions be approved, and the superintendent be authorized to execute the agreement be approved. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Tad.
Second.
Second by Dale. Are there any questions? No questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstained? All right, motion carried. All right, item E is change orders. Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby approves the following change orders. Change order for Lakeshore paving in the amount of $31,811. And for another Lakeshore paving in the amount of $28,260. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Dale,
Second.
second by Christian. I have a question.
Yeah.
So real quick, I mean, these are sizable amounts. What's the 2 change orders?
Yes, so these are at our request. The first one for $31,000 changes some of the concrete work and plantings that are going around the tennis court so that it honors a little bit more of the tree that was taken down. So we requested some changes at that. And the second is for fencing changes that will allow us to secure the entire perimeter, well, I should say, 2/3 of the perimeter of the new track complex, so that we needed to have a ticketed event. We can control the entrance and exit. So these were all done at the request of the district, and we're still well under budget for this, and they have gone through the finance committee.
Copy that.
We had a motion and a second. Any other questions? No? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstained? Okay, motion carried. Item F, agreement, Seneca Nation Vets Park lacrosse event. Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education approves the attached agreement with J. Conrad Seneca, President, Seneca Nation, for use of Veterans Memorial Park for a lacrosse event effective May 31st, 25 through June 1st, 25. And in the event that rescheduling is necessary, the Board of Education authorizes the superintendent the authority to approve mutually agreeable alternative dates, and the superintendent be authorized to execute the agreement be approved.
Motion.
Motion by Christian,
Second.
second by Tad. Do we have any questions? What's the event?
This is a 2-day large lacrosse event, and Chad, do you have more details?
Yeah, so this will be, the U20 Iroquois national team that'll be traveling to South Korea over the summer. This is kind of a prep get together. They're gonna host a practice at noon, bringing the teams together. There will be some other events that go on during the day, including a master's event in the boxes, ceremony, and then a formal scrimmage at 5 o'clock. Sunday will just be more of a practice. But it should be a pretty cool event. Be open to the public. Get an opportunity to see some local.
Yep. And I think there's some couple local people playing or trying out, I think. And it's essentially, there's some spots available that some of these guys are vying for. So, it should be pretty competitive and a good turnout. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
U20 Nationals, we're gonna see some of the top talent, honestly, in the world.
Yep.
In the world. So,
Yep. On the men's side for sure.
mhm,
Now we gotta get the women's European nationals here next.
mhm. Awesome. Okay, we had a motion and a second. Okay, any other questions?
Christian and Tad.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, any abstain? Okay, motion carries. All right, item G, accept vehicle bids. Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent and the assistant superintendent for finance and operations, the high bids for used vehicles sold as is be accepted as follows. 2010 Dodge Caravan van, for $3,600 to Robert Kennedy. 2010 Dodge Caravan for $3,600 to Mark Arnold. And a 2012 Ford Fusion for $2,250 to Danny Ting.
A question, why is it, I'm just curious, why they have to list the names of the individuals we sell them to?
We.
Oh, no, I'm just curious, that was all, just seemed kind
Because
of,
we're accepting those bids from the same,
Oh,
same as
oh.
if we were accepting
Oh,
a
okay.
construction contract bid.
gotcha, okay,
We name them.
gotcha, thank you.
All right, can I get a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Dale.
Second.
Who was that? Oh, second by Tracy. Are there any further questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstain? All right, motion carried. And we are on to item number 8, our personnel consent agenda. Item 8, personnel action. We have under a substitute cleaner, we have a lot of leaves of absence, FMLA or unpaid leave of absence. We have a few certified classified appointments, some appointments, some tenures. And we also have. I guess that was it. Some appointments. Okay, so be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education approves the personnel action items listed in the public content of section 8, item A. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Tracy.
Second.
second by Brad. Are there any questions? No? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed, any abstained? All right, motion carries. Item C, introduction of newly appointed staff. Do we have introductions?
I do not see anyone here or online, but we do have 2 individuals who have gotten tenure and we will recognize them when we see them. So congratulations to Anne Marie Anderson and Jeffrey Roberts.
All right, excellent.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, everybody, on the appointments and the tenures and everything else. All right, so then we are. Item 9, board information reports discussion. We have our enrollment report. We have our transportation report. Capital project phase 4 summary report. And then item D, we have upcoming events. First on the event is May 20th is our annual budget vote, board member election, capital improvement project 2025 and purchase of real property vote to be held at the high school gym from noon to 9 p.m. Also, are we having the art show this year?
We are, that is correct. That will be on the same day.
So we will be having the art show in the gymnasium as well, right?
That's correct.
Okay, excellent. Perfect opportunity to come down and see the kiddos' hard work. That's one of my highlights every year when we go to that is looking at all the artwork in there. So that's awesome to see. So come on down, look at some fine art from all of our hardworking students and also cast your vote. Okay. With that, I will take a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion.
Motion by Christian. Second by Dale. Are there any questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstained? Okay, motion carried. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Students, if you need a signature, you can come down and get a signature for him.